guys, welcome to my channel, or welcome back to my channel. I can welcome you back to my channel because this is the second video I am posting on YouTube. If you missed the first one, I basically was just introducing myself and I told you why I suspected that I had a nickel allergy. I will post that down below. But again, if you are new here, I'm Kimmy, this is my attic, and today we are continuing on my nickel allergy series. Today I want to talk to you about getting diagnosed and what you do after that, because getting diagnosed with a nickel allergy is not like, oh, you're allergic to roses and you just stay away from roses. It's in so many things, right? But first of all, I think at some time or another, all of us have had a reaction to something, right? We use something and then we get irritated by it. A lot of times this is a new product, right? We try something new, it doesn't work from us, we eliminate it. Easy. But what about when you haven't tried something new, when you're using the same products you've always used and always loved, and all of a sudden you can't seem to wear them anymore? Well, this is typically what happens when you have a nickel allergy. Not just a nickel allergy, but it is something that will happen to you with a nickel allergy, because like I said in my last video, these allergies, they come out of nowhere. And why they come out of nowhere, who knows? We know what they are. It's your immune system fighting something that doesn't need to be fought. But why people get them, why some people have them and some people don't, nobody really knows the answer. So who knows? Don't think, oh, why is this happening to me? Because you're not going to get, trust me, you're not going to get a satisfactory answer. So what's really important is to find out what it is. Not so much as why, but what. So before I get into that, I just want to show you some pictures. Now, in the last video, I know I showed you that picture. I'm not going to show you anything as bad. I showed you the picture of me after I had the eyelashes. After I had the eyelashes taken off, that was by far the worst reaction I ever had. The worst. So I'm not going to show you pictures like that, but I am going to show you a couple more. So in this first one, okay, first of all, yes, I am wearing the same shirt. These were both taken in the winter of 2019. I guess I was like wearing that shirt to bed a lot. I don't know. Anyway, this was a reaction that I had gotten after wearing some eyeliner. And this is a typical reaction that I get from eyeliner. A lot of redness, a lot of swelling. Eyeliner is something I no longer use. I can't use it at all unless I use eyeliner with carbon black. I'm going to talk about other makeup in a future video. But for the most part, I just avoid eyeliner like the plague. Some makeup I'm fine with, but eyeliner is definitely not one of those things. Okay, this picture is a typical eyeshadow reaction picture, and I get reactions to a lot of eyeshadows. Some eyeshadows don't bother me, and some eyeshadows do. I really believe it is the ratio of ingredients, because almost all eyeshadows have iron oxides in them, or basically all eyeshadows have iron oxides in them. So I'm thinking that it is the formula, and that's what I'm going to talk about next week, why we get reactions to some makeup as nickel allergy sufferers and not all makeup. Now, I believe that this particular reaction was from, I know, it was from a Natasha Denona palette, but I want to make it really, really clear. In fact, I know it was from the Mini Love palette, but I want to make it really, really, really clear that it has nothing to do with the formula. It has nothing to do with the brand. This is purely if you're allergic to iron oxides. And like I said, there's iron oxides in all eyeshadow, so I really just think it is the ratio. The absolute worst reaction I ever had to a palette was from Charlotte Tilbury. So it has nothing to do with the brand or the quality of the makeup. So now that that's out of the way, yes, I do believe, and this is a very typical reaction I would get from a palette. I have had worse. I have had ones that aren't so bad, but that's pretty typical and usually shows up within a day. Allergies are always a little bit delayed, by the way. That's also another thing that separates them from irritations. If you put something on and, like I said, it's right away, that's an irritation. An allergy, whether it's a few hours later or a few days later, it's always delayed in some way because it's really your immune system. So, I lost my train of thought. Anyway, this is typical that I would get. This is the normal kind of reaction that I get, and it lasts a few days. And it's painful. That kind of reaction is painful, especially on the eyelids, because your eyelids are so sensitive. And then this is my forearm. This is also from swatching something. I don't remember the palette I was swatching, but obviously did not agree with me. And so that's just some typical dermatitis examples I wanted to show you. We're all different. By no means that they all look like that, but those were the ones that I was getting. So if you have been experiencing something like that, the best thing that you can do, what do we do, right? Human nature dictates what we do. A lot of times when something like this happens, oh, it'll go away on its own. It's like one of those things, you'll just wait it out. I just kicked my camera, sorry. But what happens when it doesn't go away or it gets progressively worse, which is what happened to me and what most likely will happen to you if you have a nickel allergy and you keep using those products. Switching, when you have a nickel allergy, switching a product isn't going to do much because it's the ingredient, right? It's not necessarily the product, it's the ingredient in the product. Sometimes it's hard to figure out. So what do? Well, when things tend to get worse or just don't go away, the best thing to do is to call a dermatologist or go see a dermatologist. And what I would also recommend that you do is take a picture, because when you do go to see that dermatologist, Murphy's Law predicts you will be perfectly healthy and nothing will be wrong. So when something like this happens, take a picture so that you have something to show your doctor when you do go see them. And when they look at the picture, they're probably going to do a patch test to try to find out what you are allergic to. Now, a patch test is basically what it sounds like. It's a patch, and they put it on your back, and you have to have it on for 3 days. And it basically has allergens in it, concentrations of common allergens. And you can talk to your doctor if you have an idea and you probably do have an idea, because these dermatitis reactions, they take place for the most part where you put the product. So you probably have some idea of what's causing it. You can customize your patch test. I know my doctor could. I'm pretty sure most doctors can. All they have to do is make a patch with your product and see if that reacts. So takes about 3 days, if my memory serves me right. I think it does. They put it on, you go home. The next day you come back and they take a look, put it back on, you go home. That next day, nothing happens. The next day you go back and they take it off. I keep pointing to this side because I specifically remember it was right here. The nickel portion was right here. And by day 2, I knew that whatever was right here was what was causing all my problems, because it was so uncomfortable. You have to remember, it's like a concentration, a real concentration of this stuff. So, and they want it to be like that because they want it to set you off so that they can figure out what it is. So they read it, I believe, by circumference, and also, if it has risen, if it's swelling up. They can tell you if it's just an irritation or if it's an actual allergy. So in my last video, remember I told you my doctor told me I was allergic to nickel. Now, getting that diagnosis, like I said, it's not like you're allergic to something very specific and you just stay away from it, because your doctor can tell you the ingredient, but he can't tell you everything that's setting you off. So that's really up to you. I know I was overwhelmed because nickel is in so many things. So how do you realize what you can use and what you can't use, or what the problem is versus things that aren't causing you a problem? So first of all, what is nickel in? We all know the everyday stuff, metals, but think about glasses, doorknobs, your keys. You could be so sensitive that you could have problems with your keys. And if you are getting a lot of rashes here in the palm of your hands, chances are it's from picking stuff up. So, I mean, I don't wear glasses, so I don't know the answer to that. I would imagine different material or something that covers them. I really don't know. I know people do put cloth over their doorknobs and stuff like that, or very careful handling keys. But nickel is in other things too. Like I said, it's in all cosmetics. Enough cosmetics for me to say all, pretty much. And what else? Jewelry. Jewelry is a big one. And what about food? It's in a lot of foods that we don't even realize. Do you realize how many foods nickel is in? There's complete lists online, but I'll give you a list. So off the top of my head, broccoli, kale, a lot of sprouts, some fruits like raspberries, chocolate, soy, wheat, oats, a lot of seafood. The list goes on. And you also have to be aware if you eat canned food, because there can be traces of nickel in the can. So like I said, it's somewhat overwhelming. So what I did, and what I advise you to do, is to go out and get yourself a journal. You don't even have to be that fancy. I just happen to like journals. Get yourself a few sheets of paper and a pen, whatever. Something to write with. What you want to do is try to eliminate everything that you can. No cosmetics, no jewelry, and try to eliminate all the food you can with nickel and bring things back one at a time. Now, this concept is not at all new, right? This is basically how they figure out what anybody's allergic to, or even when people are like starting to do like clean eating, whatever, and they're bringing things back one at a time, and a lot of people realize that they're having like reactions to dairy products. You know, it's the same thing. Even when babies, you know, they always say to introduce food to babies one thing at a time to see how they're reacting to everything. So it's like the same it's basically the same exact concept. So you try to eliminate everything and bring it back one at a time. So let's say chocolate's the first thing you're going to bring back. So you want to try to avoid eating anything else with nickel besides chocolate for a few days, and jot down your reaction and see if it's a problem for you or not. When I did this, I found out that every time I ate spinach, I got a rash. And I had never noticed that before. But yeah, which made sense because spinach is loaded with nickel. It's a vegetable that's very high in nickel. That was the only problem I had with food. When I brought back cosmetics, it was no, you know, I knew I was going to have an issue with eyeliner. I skipped over that. I was very, very lucky in that, with the exception of eyeshadow, most other cosmetics I was able to use. So it really depends on the sensitivity of your allergy. Now, you do have these allergies for life, and chances are, you know, at some point they could get worse for me and I could be able to use less and less stuff. But right now, that's where I am. So, you know, you could be very, very sensitive and not be able to use a lot of things, or it could only be a few things. So it's really, really important, I think, to figure out what that is. By the way, I was just reading this the other day. Some people, and this is to foods, nickel in foods, can get reactions that include stomach aches and respiratory problems. Now, as far as I know, that's not at all common. Most of these reactions are dermatitis related, but it is something you want to be aware of and talk to your doctor about if you find that you're getting that. For the rest of the series, and anytime I bring up nickel allergy, I'm always referring to dermatitis because that's all I have experience in. I've never gotten anything else more serious than that. So I only know about dermatitis reactions, but I did want to make you aware that it can happen. It does exist. So yeah, when you find out what is setting you off, you're going to feel so much better. I remember when I first got diagnosed, I felt like I was in a constant state of dermatitis because I was wearing the wrong things. I didn't know what I could wear and what I couldn't wear, and it was a mess. And it was a hard time. And it's not easy giving up all these things. Like I said, it could be a rough couple of days or a rough couple of weeks, but in the end, it's worth it. In the end, you will know what you can use, what you can't use, and you're going to feel a lot better. So that is my best advice to you. Now, going forward, this series is going to really move more into makeup because that's where I had most of my problems, was with makeup. And I really enjoy makeup, as I said in my last video. So in my next video, I'm going to talk about the ingredients in makeup, which becomes really important. Chances are you never noticed the ingredients in your makeup before, but if you are diagnosed with a nickel allergy, it becomes really important that you read the ingredients and that you kind of understand what's in it so that you know what you're using. So we're going to talk about that in my next video. And for the rest of the series, like I said, it's going to focus mainly on makeup. So if you are someone that is interested in still wearing makeup, I think you will find, and you have a nickel allergy or suspect you have one, you probably will benefit from the rest of the series. Or you can always check out my blog, www.myeyeshadowallergy.com. I talk all about makeup with nickel, and I'm always trying things to see if I have a reaction to them or not. And I'm going to get more into that in future videos. But for today, I want to thank you so much for joining me. I hope that if you found this video helpful, you will give it a thumbs up, and I hope that you will leave me a comment. Let me know if you have a nickel allergy, how you found out, what you react to, what you don't react to. Do you still wear makeup? I would love to know. Thank you guys so much for joining me, and I will see you next time. Bye.